What's up, guys? Welcome to my new video. Today we got for you a new build order against Protoss. It is the D build, and if you've seen my stream, you've seen me do this build, you've probably seen me beat some pretty good Protoss players with it. And for those of you that don't know what the D build is, the D build is called the D build because the Marauder uses the hotkey D, and so does the Widow Mine and the Medevac. And it's really strong against Protoss. I actually feel like this could be really good against Protoss, like every single game. You could actually play this as like a meta and be pretty successful, and that's really the main reason it's called the D build. There's not really any other reason. We kind of came up with it on my stream. We thought it was funny. That's all there is to it. No hidden meaning, nothing like that. And without further ado, guys, let's get into this replay. As you can see here, we have a little bit of a worker split. You guys don't really have to worry about that. That's what we call a pro gamer move. Learned it from Maru. But seriously, guys, the main reason behind this video is because I really want you guys to learn how to do this build, because I believe that this build is not just a strong build against Protoss, specifically standard Protoss play, but I actually think it's not that difficult of a style to execute. The thing about it is that a lot of people struggle with Terran versus Protoss. And I think this build will help a lot of people get a lot of those wins that they feel like they just can't get against the Protosses. We're going to try to win some back, boys. And as you can see, it's just a standard opener. You've got your 15 barracks. You've got your 15 gas. And we've got this probe kind of harassing a little bit over here. And we're just going to push that guy back. Don't really have to pull all these SCVs, but we just want him out of there as quickly as possible. And we want to make sure that we don't lose a worker, don't take too much damage on it. We don't really want this probe to delay things. The initial probe can be a little bit annoying, guys. I know.
No more!
The best way to deal with it is to just, like, overdeal with it. Like, you don't want it to do damage, ever. So, I just like to pull the two SCVs, and if the worker building is just a little bit too low, I pull him off and I swap him with one of the two workers that I pulled. So that's why I usually always pull two. Either you attack with two if the worker's at a healthy life, and if it's not, then you just swap it for one of the healthy SCVs. And as you can see over here, Protoss is playing pretty standard. He's got the one gas only, not taking this one quite yet. And our build looks pretty standard as well, except for what's going to happen when this Reaper comes out. A tech lab. Right. So the reason we're getting this tech lab is because we're going to be making Marauders with Concussive Shell, which is a really good opener because it keeps you safe against any type of early gateway pressure, especially if you have a bunker. So we're just keeping the Reaper at home for now, just in case he sends an Adept across the map. We all know they love to send the Adept and try to get a snipe on the SCV building the command center. And this build will prevent that from happening. Tech Lab builds much faster than a Reactor, which means in turn you're getting units out faster. And a Marauder is stronger than two Marines against an Adept. It's stronger against a Stalker than two Marines. So basically, he can't engage this at all, and we're going to be pretty safe. We're going to try to send the Reaper around or something. Get the orbital. As you can see, we've got the second gas at the standard time as well. Factory, standard time. We just are playing pretty standard with the exception of that tech lab. Already have concussive shells on the way. Gonna swap, make a reactor after we make the second Marauder and fill up that bunker. Now we know we're pretty safe. Question is, what is the Protoss doing? We don't really have a good idea, and as you can see, he did a really good job denying the Reaper Scout. So if you take a look here, we're actually pretty blind. We're in the dark. We did scout this way, and it looks like we scouted this way as well. So we have a pretty good idea that it's most likely not a proxy, especially not after seeing the Nexus at the timing in which we saw it. But we don't know what tech he's going for. As you can see, we put the factory on the tech lab, and we're getting a starport. And very important, we're getting an armory as well. And you're just trying to pop these things out. You want to get the armory before the starport. The armory before the starport's important because you want this upgrade to finish before your first medevac is out. And the upgrade we're going for is, of course, that Drilling Claws upgrade. It's very, very strong against Protoss, especially if you do an early Widowmine drop. Focus fire that Stalker. This is a little bit of an annoying gateway pressure, but at the same time, he's throwing away his entire presence on the map. So it seems a little annoying for now, but it's really not that bad for us. And as you can see, he's going to lose all of these units, but he did kill some workers. He got 5. Not that big of a deal, though. And we're going to swap off that reactor, make another tech lab on this barracks, and we're going to add one more barracks, I believe, right now? Yeah, with this SCV. But the biggest problem with that pressure he just put on was the fact that he distracted me, and I got my Drilling Claws very, very late. That's very bad for this build order because you want this drop with 4 Widow Mines to hit as quickly as possible. And it's just not going to have Drilling Claws in time for the drop, unfortunately. And if it does, it's just way stronger if it does. You can see we're mining with 4 on gas. It's not very good. But I think this is really good to show you guys. And I chose a suboptimal replay. I've actually had some replays where I played a little bit better. But I think it's important to show that even when the build doesn't go absolutely perfectly, it's still a good build. One thing to note, though, is when you have that factory on the tech lab, you might need to build a cyclone if you do see a proxy starport or something like that. As you can see, if these were Drilling Claws, he would have just lost his entire mineral line. Instead, he's gonna have to deal with no probes killed, just a couple of units. One more unit, so he hasn't really lost anything yet. He's only lost, well, 825 minerals is nothing small, but we're gonna lose about the same after he cleans up those mines. Our medevac is just hanging out here. As I said, this isn't exactly the cleanest game ever, but I think it's important to show that even when the game isn't perfect, even when the game isn't clean, even when things don't go the way that we want them to, we can still win with this build order. I think that's really important for any build order, because unfortunately for us, things don't always go our way on ladder. I'm sure you guys all know that. And let me just open that production tab again. Didn't mean to close it. We're adding more barracks, as you can see. We're going to have a total of 5, and we're adding a second factory. That's going to have a reactor on it as well. One of the coolest things about this build is the fact that you can get a crap ton of units out really, really fast. Like, you can get so many Widow Mines and Marauders. Your unit count gets super high, super, super fast. As you can see right here, we got supply block, not very good. Dark Shrine on the way. Luckily, we already have missile turrets. This was me being just a little scared of the Phoenix, but, you know, gonna help against the Dark Templar as well. Our upgrades are pretty fast with this build as well. You're supposed to get these 2 eBays after your first 3 barracks, and then you want to try and get your upgrades out as quickly as possible. Our third is actually mining before the Protoss. That's always a good thing. Terran is really, really happy to be in a spot like this, for sure. And as you can see, we're just trying to camp, just holding our bases, making sure that we don't get run by it. I'm going to get a sensor tower. Really common play is for Protoss to send the War Prism into the main and then come running up with Zealots through there. Or Zealots through here, and the War Prism through here. And we're just trying to prepare for stuff like that. We have these Widow Mines in case the Phoenix fly there. We are just trying to play a little bit safe here. We know that if we get a really high unit count, it's very unlikely our opponent's going to be able to have an army the same size. Like I said, the unit count that you get with this build order is really, really high. As you can see, we even know that we had our third mining before his. We actually scouted that, I believe. Nope, we did not. There we go. But with that scan, we probably think that the game is about even right now, but we're actually pretty far ahead. And the reasoning that we're pretty far ahead is because we've denied his ability to put any pressure on us with the amount of Widow Mines that we have and the amount of Marauders that we have. The Marauders will shut down pretty much any armored unit, and the Widow Mines will shut down basically any Zealots or anything like that. So we're just trying to move around the map, trying to figure out exactly what he's up to. We see there's no fourth base here. So we're going to go around and check for the other fourth base, which as we see is going up. This was a little bit of a slip up by him, allowing that DT to attack this Marauder. So we're just going to try to deny the fourth base up here. He's got a pretty decent setup trying to deny drops and stuff. This should be a really, really easy cancel though, because like I said, our unit count's just way too high. Like if you just look at his army compared to ours, he doesn't really have any chance of beating our army currently. And we know that, so we're going to stim up. These Widow Mines really zoning out the Zealots. And as you can see, this is just not a great engagement for him. This, I kind of bungle. These Widow Mine drops. This could have been a lot better. It's still not bad, and we're still going to do really, really well here, as you can see. When you have a really high Marauder count, it actually showcases exactly how tanky Marauders are. They don't really feel that tanky when you have a couple of them, but then when you have like a huge amount of them, like we had like 20 Marauders there or something, when you have that many Marauders, you can really see how well they tank, especially against stuff like the Colossus lasers and the Zealots and stuff. You just kite them back through the minefields and stuff like that. There's not really much the Protoss player can do in that scenario. We're going to actually come over here, grab some mines out of that minefield over here. And as you can see, his unit count is just not very good. Like, this is not great for him. He has no idea what to do from here, I don't think. He's just lost too much at this point.
Nuclear launch detected.
13 probes, guys. Holy crap. That is a crazy amount. He's just got mines absolutely everywhere. He has no idea how to put any pressure on. And I'm sure a lot of people have been in this position before where you just feel like you need to attack. But if you attack, you're going to lose. And I'm pretty sure that's how our opponent was feeling right here. And as you can see, we're just refilling that army supply count. We already have all of these barracks. We have 8, I believe. We've got 2 more factories. Another command center on the way to make our 5th base. And our army supply is just skyrocketing. It's just going so far and above our opponents right now because of how quickly we can build these units, because they're very heavy on minerals, but relatively cheap on the gas, which allows you to get even a better medevac count out. Allows you to get these upgrades a little bit faster than you normally would. Have yet to start +3 armor, but that's just a mistake. We're going to probably push out across the map pretty soon here. Loading up more of these Widow Mines into the medevacs. This is actually my favorite move to do with this build. This is more of an advanced D-build user strategy, if you will. You don't really have to do this, but it is really good if you're playing against like Colossus or Disruptors, or even Carriers or Void Rays or anything like that. It's really, really strong. As you can see here, just pushing across the map. We realized that we left our medevacs behind, so we're gonna wait for those to catch up. More DTs.
Help me!
These are depths shading in. They didn't sign up for this. They're going down. The last 2 stand their ground. But to no avail. And as you can see, now we're going to push towards this 4th base. This should be GG for us right here. This is going to be great, guys. This is why I love just boosting the mines here. Look at this. He's got...
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Mines to the right of him, Marauders to the left. It's a sandwich, and in the worst kind of way. When you are the meat between a bun of mines and a bun of Marauders, I think you know how that's going to end. And our poor Protoss player. To no avail. He had to GG out. Well, let me take that back. He did not GG out of this game. But I thought it was a good game at the end of the day. And I thought it was a really fun game. I think this is a really fun build. I think this is a really strong build. And I actually think that this build isn't all that difficult to execute, especially if you're like a diamond or above player. And I really just wanted to show this build to you guys because I've been enjoying it a lot on ladder. And I think that you guys will too. And that's all there is to it. See ya.